There was a time when I had no textbooks. When one borrowed book carried 5 subjects. When education was not guaranteed, but earned. From disadvantage to determination. Against financial hardship. Against structural barriers. Education became my foundation. Public service was never a title, it was responsibility. From healthcare logistics to rural community support to education advocacy. In 1978, I entered the Legislative Assembly. In 1983, I became Ulandi's first mayor. I was not outside the system, I was inside it. I advised leadership, I drafted legislation. I witnessed decisions that shaped a nation. The Freedom Charter promised dignity, equality, shared prosperity. But are we honoring it? Some promises were delayed, some were diluted, some were broken. This book is not about anger, it is about accountability. It is about learning from history, so we do not repeat it. It is a call to the youth to question, to think, to protect the dream.
Hey, Baba, yes, people have been so interested about the book Broken Promises, and it's been 4 months now on the shelves. So they wanted to know a little bit more about you. So when you reflect on your journey as Secretary of the Legislature, what moment shaped your understanding of leadership?
In fact, leadership is a very important thing. People must be able to learn the leadership styles. But when I think back in 1994, when the people from exile became members of the legislature, we tried our best to train them about the government systems and operations. But they ignored us because they associated whatever we told them, we're trying to teach them, they associated with the apartheid system. But when I was in Britain in 1988, I realized that the system of governance which we were using in South Africa were the same as that in Britain. In fact, most of the countries who were under the British government previously, they were there trained and used the same systems. But that was the problem we encountered with them, because we were trying to teach them how to work with the public, what is expected of them, you know.
Oh, so they were not able to adjust to this new way of working with the new system.
In fact, they pretended as if they know all. They thought that we were trying to put them in a corner whenever we trained them.
Yeah. So did that feel like you are drifting away from the Freedom Charter? Because there was a plan of a Freedom Charter and how, when the democracy came, how the government was supposed to function. So did that mindset drift away from the original plan of the Freedom Charter?
Yes, of course. Because the Freedom Charter, in fact, did not emphasize racism. Now, if the Freedom Charter was really followed in the true sense of the weight from A to Z, South Africa would be in a better position by now. But it appears now we reintroduce now another apartheid in South Africa. Racism, sort of, the way things were done, the way people were acting, instead of coming together, the cohesion, in order to improve the development of the country. That was the main problem which I noticed.
Oh, yeah, the mindset didn't align with the dream that you guys had, that you had as leaders at the time.
Yes.
Okay. So I could see, because I remember when you were kids, you were very principled. Integrity to you meant a lot. So can you tell the people what is integrity now when you're a public servant?
A public servant must be responsible, must have insight of what he or she is doing. They must know that they are serving They are the servants of the people.
So they shouldn't have ego complex.
Yes, they should not have the ego complex.
Oh.
They should put service delivery first.
Okay.
Even they should dedicate themselves. Public servants should at times work overtime, unpaid overtime, because they are working for their people. They are advantaged that they are getting salaries from the coffers of all the public.
Yeah, that's very true. So if you could speak to a young South African, so what would you urge them to protect?
In fact, I would say young South Africans should protect their culture. They should know where they come from. Their culture should be the basic of whatever they're doing, although they interact with other cultures and so on. But we need what we call in South Africa, Ubuntu.
Yes.
Means humanity.
Yes.
You must be a human. Whatever you deal with another person, you must respect that person. You must regard that person as very important, as part of yourself. So now the youth of today, it appears that they look down on their culture. You see, even their languages, they even try to ignore their languages, to look down upon their languages, things like that. So I think that the youth should know where they come from. They should know their history. They should know their forefathers who even died defending this country.
Yeah, that is so true. And Tinabele, you taught us about irrespect and humility is a very important trait to have as a person.
Yes.
You must remain humble.
Yes.
Yeah. So why do you think history is important to be told by those who lived it? Why is it important that you tell us the history?
The history is very important. In fact, if in South Africa we were reading history, to read history, for instance, European history, while I was a student, I learned a lot of the problems which faced other countries like France, for instance, the effects of the French Revolution.
Yes,
because that is where we are. We have got liberation, but it appears we are experiencing the same effects which were experienced in France. If we knew that history, we could not be repeating the same mistakes where people think that the government can do all, the government can pay them, the government got a lot of money, can employ everybody. That impression could not be reflected if we know history. History is a basic, it shows you the root. For instance, if you read about Bismarck and others in Europe, you learned a lot. We must also learn our own history in South Africa.
That's very true. Where did we start? When the ANC started? What was their plan?
Yes.
And how did mistakes that they made that put us where we are today?
Yeah.
So,
for instance, they had the policy of making the country ungovernable.
Oh, yeah.
That persists today in South Africa.
Which year was this?
Huh?
Which year was that?
That was in the 1980s. They preached the gospel because they wanted to overthrow the apartheid government. But they preached that the government should be, they will make South Africa ungovernable. It is ungovernable even today when they are in power. They cannot they encourage people not to pay for services. People are refusing to pay services. So,
it started then.
Yes, that is why the municipalities are not in operation in South Africa.
Sure.
Because they cannot collect rent and other pay what they are expected to pay.
Oh, the services.
Yeah.
That is so true.
No.
Okay, yeah. The impact of the past is catching up with us now.
Yes.
But it's so horrible. So what do you hope readers feel after reading Broken Promises? Once you want to get to that last chapter of the book, what do you hope?
My hope is that people must exercise their thoughts. We must look for ways and means of surviving in South Africa. We must look for systems which could make our lives easier. How could we improve our lives? What techniques we can use in order to have this country in a good position? What should we do? People should be able to apply their minds. People should be creative.
Yeah.
That is what I'm trying to say. People must know that they should do things themselves. Not to say that in South Africa, people who are creating job opportunities are the white Africans. So if the black Africans are not doing anything to improve the systems and the working of the government, as well as the development of the government, there's nothing will improve in South Africa.
Yeah, instead of us always waiting for the government to bring the changes.
Yes.
So we must be the change we want in the world.
Yes, we must also create, we as Black Africans, job opportunities.
Yes, true. Because it's always what the government is always preaching.
Yes.
But we're always waiting for the government to do it instead of doing it ourselves.
All of them, they want to be employed by the government.
Yeah.
You find that youth from the universities, they say the government is doing nothing to employ us. You cannot accommodate all these people.
Yeah.
Because unemployment is not a new concept. It started in Europe.
Oh.
That's why people in Europe, they had to look for new countries. That's why they came to South Africa, they went to New Zealand and Australia, because they were looking for new opportunities. So we must create opportunities ourselves.
Yeah, that is so brilliant. But guys, we close. How would you like your legacy to be remembered? How would you like people to remember you?
I would like the people to remember me as a person who has a straight talk, who speak the truth. Because we must be, in order to change in South Africa, we must face the situation as it is.
Yeah.
We should not use politics just to wasp the people.
Yes.
We must use politics with truth.
Yes.
We must tell people with truth. For instance, instead of telling the people the truth, if the government, for instance, is not having any money, it doesn't tell people that we don't have money. It creates the impression that they have money. So I want us to be people who do things properly.
Yes.
Yeah, instead of trying to canvass everybody to vote for our parties. But let us be sincere in whatever we do.
Yeah, that is wonderful. But again, I'm sure they are getting the message. We've been getting a lot of positive feedback from my colleagues in the Alone. They say they have learned a lot and they are hoping to make a difference where they are. So we really appreciate you writing this book for us as young South Africans. So thank you, Baba. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much. I hope people will read this book and analyze it and take all what is good for them.
Yeah, thanks.